Okay, hey, here we are. This is next level training. This is the beginning of 30 Days to Greatness, the Blast Off Boot Camp. And I just want to give you a quick couple of instructions here. We're going to have some slides we go through. We're going to have a video or two in each of these sessions. But we're also going to have some downloads, some PDFs that are going to be available to you. They're either in the email you clicked on to open this up or in the program you logged into just to be able to download. And those are the keys. Uh, Listening to me, some fuzzy guy on the internet ranting and raving will not make you great at real estate. What matters is what you do. So let's get into it. Uh, I'm Paul Curtis, your host. This is the overview of 30 Days to Greatness, the Blast Off Boot Camp with Red Door Real Estate. And there's a reason the U.S. military does boot camps. In fact, all militaries do them, but we know about them as boot camps. There's a reason professional sports teams do training camps. That reason is to create mindsets and to develop skill sets. Now, we're not going to take you off someplace, like a training camp or a boot camp. It's really up to you to establish this in your current environment. To get that time you're setting aside over the next 30 days, at least an hour a day. Well, not every day. The weekends you can take off and do some other things, but you need to get your own immersion experience by doing the work that's really required to get there, okay? So being immersed in the subject and making significant progress instills confidence. Not just confidence, but there's a reason it instills confidence because it also instills competence and getting some skills and getting a mindset that you can do this and you know exactly what you need to do. Well, welcome to the Blast Off Boot Camp. We call it 30 Days to Greatness. It only works if you commit to the process. And let me tell you why this process is important. It's important because your success depends on it. People that commit to the process I'm about to put in front of you over the next 30 days succeed. Those that don't. This is from Michael Gerber's really classic book entitled The E-Myth Revisited. And really important E-Myth, by the way, has to do with the entrepreneur myth. That, if you've got that entrepreneur spirit and you've got that can-do attitude, you can get there from here. Well, that's a myth. There's more to it than a little bit of false confidence. See, in the first year of the life of a new business, 40% fail. So that means if 1 million start, 400,000 don't make it a single year. Of those that make it a year, 80% don't make it 5 years. So if 1 million minus, in the end here, 80% don't make it 5 years. So that's 800,000 out of 1 million fail. Great, 200,000 make it. I know I'm in the top 20%. Well, the bad news isn't over. Of those that make it 5 years, 80% fail before the 10-year mark. That's another 160,000 out of the 200. So do the math. Of the 1 million that start, 40,000 are a viable business at the 10-year mark. That's 4%. 4%. But the good news is those that make it actually make it. So the question becomes, why do they make it? Well, we're going to get into that. You're a small business startup, okay? The key is building your business, not just chasing business. 30 Days to Greatness is about creating the systems and habits it takes to succeed. Of course, you won't have accomplished everything it takes to be great in real estate after 30 days. This is a boot camp. But the truth is, you really can accomplish what it takes to be on the way to greatness in 30 days. You will, however, start building a successful business by immersing yourself into the skill building and what I call business asset building it takes to make it big. Business assets are the type of things that you create them and they work for you as an asset over time. So you don't have to recreate it every time. You've created an asset you can put into play. And you're going to spend the next 30 days working on that. I had a coach when I was a kid say, greatness comes from doing the little things over and over with excellence. Slow down, say it again. Greatness comes from doing the little things over and over with excellence. He was talking about sports, so footwork, etc. But let me tell you about Tim Duncan. They call him the big fundamental. Take a quick look at this video. I'm just going to roll this for you. Ready, go.
So we're talking about 30 days to greatness. And of course, greatness can't be achieved really in 30 days unless you recognize that greatness really is doing the fundamentals, the basics, over and over with excellence. You can learn the fundamentals in 30 days. I think of Tim Duncan. He played 19 seasons in the NBA. He was the #1 draft choice in 1997. He played until he was 40 years old and retired in 2016. He won 5 NBA championships. He was twice the league MVP. 15 times he was an All-Star. He was the only player in history to be named both an All-Star and an All-Defensive Player 13 seasons. They called him the big fundamental because there was nothing flashy about what he did. But what he did was unstoppable. And you can be unstoppable as well by learning the basics and practicing them over and over and over. The basics of lead generation. The importance of what I call role-playing rock and roll riffs. Comes from the idea that certain bands have played the same song. I mean, the Rolling Stones, are still playing the same songs they were playing years ago. We had a concert here recently of the Grand Funk Railroad. You know the song, "We're an American band, we're coming to your town." You know this song, right? Well, they've been doing the same song for decades. Why? Because it pays. They could get bored and do something else, but that's not what works. What works are rock and roll riffs, well rehearsed and done over and over with excellence. You can learn the basics, the fundamentals in the first 30 days and keep applying and applying and applying. And what you'll find is you'll learn the rest that you need to know as you go. So spend the next 30 days, these 30 days, working on your greatness. It'll pay off.
So really, there's no better example of what I'm talking about than those old rock and roll bands who keep doing the same things over and over, or a guy like Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, who just kept working the same things over and over. Now, you're going to add to your repertoire. You're not going to learn everything in 30 days, but you can start this learning curve and make such significant progress in 30 days that these 30 days really can lead to greatness. Your success is a matter of doing the little things over and over with excellence, because that's how you reach greatness. In this 30 Days to Greatness Bootcamp, we're going to learn what those things are and start doing them. And that's the key, doing them. Your behaviors is what will move the needle. The only thing that moves the needle towards greatness is what we do. Take a look at this. It's commonly called the cognitive behavioral therapist triangle. And, psychologists and behavioral therapists have been using this for decades, right? The idea here is that this triangle between your actions, thoughts, and feelings is in play. But notice the arrows go both directions, right? So your thoughts affect your feelings affect your thoughts affect your actions affect your thoughts, your actions affect your feeling. You got it. It's a two-way street on every one of these. But I don't want to overstate this. You're familiar with the concept of hyperbole, where you say something kind of over the top. Well, here goes. Ready? I don't care what you think and feel, because what you think and feel don't move the needle. Only your actions move the needle. Now, I say I don't care. Of course, I care what you think and feel, but especially insofar as what you think and feel affects what you do. But the good news is what you do will actually affect how you feel. The key is what we actually do day after day. The good news is your feelings and beliefs will follow your actions into your success. And I bring this up because very often people, when they're getting started, they don't feel like they know what they're doing. They don't feel as confident, right? They don't think they know enough. Well, that's where you lean on the training. That's where you lean on, these gray whiskers over the years, doing this with lots of people and finding these are the behaviors that lead to success. In order to consistently do what it takes to be successful and create the freedom you're seeking, you need to systematize your actions. Let me just pause there for that. To create the freedom you're seeking. Nobody gets a real estate license to get a job working nights and weekends. You could be a bartender and do that. You get a real estate license because you want to create a business that creates a freedom in your life. You want to move from survive to thrive so that you can have an impact in this world, whatever it is that interests you, whether it's, spending time with your kids or grandkids, whether it's traveling a lot, whether it's running for local office or coaching kids in the park, or whatever it is where you want to have an impact in your life. Well, it's going to take a viable funding source for you to have that impact. And in order to have a viable funding source, it depends on what we consistently do day after day and how we systematize our actions, the actions that lead to success. That's why I created the conceptual framework of the Freedom Funnel, Real Talk for Real Estate Agents. It's a book I wrote. There's a picture of it. It's available in the office at a discounted price, or you can order it on Amazon or get it on your Kindle if you just soon get it now and not worry about the discounted price in the office. But pick it up, take a look at it. The following that I'm about to show you now is part of the outline of the book in an infographic style. I call it the Freedom Funnel and use this infographic to kind of communicate the idea. People know about sales funnels. Well, I'm trying to bring you freedom. So let's see how you get there. The Freedom Funnel tells us you're going to have to get great at moving your community, which you can see is just outside the funnel here, to become your contacts. All right. And there's a particular set of skills we're going to be working on, certainly in this 30 Days to Greatness. But by the way, this is the 101 level of this stuff. This is the beginning of it. It's not the end all, but it is the beginning. And so I call it next level training because we're going to go from the blast off boot camp into the blast off training. And once we're off the ground, we continue with the orbit training to keep this business up and running, because we don't want to end up, making it the first year, or even making it 5 years, but still falling prey to failing because we haven't done what it takes to build a successful business that funds the freedom that you're seeking. Anyway, the point is, this section of the work, moving community to contact, has its own set of skills and behaviors that are needed. But that's not the whole story. Just because you have a contact doesn't mean you have a client. You might have a lead if that contact is interested in talking about real estate, but you still don't have a client just because you have a lead. You've got to get a system and skills that are great at moving people from that contact down into the funnel, into the pipeline of a client. And You've got to get great at being, systematically moving people from just being a client to getting them into the contract that's right for them. And believe me when I tell you, these sections are all different sorts of skills and activities, right? And of course, the contract's got to get closed, which is again a lot different than anything else on this chart so far, because that's where the cash is. That's where the it's coming out of the spigot. There is when you get to the closing. Nothing's coming in if you don't get it closed. So, and then post closing, a continued client relationship. Now, nobody's good at everything, all right? But this Freedom Funnel outline is the framework for our training. And since no one is good at everything, we got to recognize it's important to systematize our weaknesses so they don't beat us, whatever that is, and systematize so you can crush it with your strengths is what we're going to be doing here. You'll be tempted to say, just give me what I need. I don't want any, just give me what I need. Give me what I need. But then you won't have what you really need. What you really need is the sufficiency that comes from doing it yourself. That's why boot camps in the military put you through all kinds of training, is to build you and your confidence and your skills so that you have a sufficiency. And that's really what we're going for here in this 30 Days to Greatness, is to put in some work. It's not just about listening to me. Notice I didn't say mastery. I said sufficiency. Mastery will come later, but sufficiency is within your grasp if you will put in the work to get it. These trainings are designed to be between 45 minutes and an hour, and 15 minutes of which is online activity and personal work. So 4 times a week plus 1 small group session is plenty to get you started towards greatness. I got this from Warren Buffett, who talks about the 5-hour rule. And what his argument is if you're just doing what needs to be done today, then you'll never get to greatness tomorrow. So his idea is spend an hour a day, 5 days a week, working on the things that will make the difference for tomorrow, not just the tasks of today. And so that's where I've got this training, an hour a day, 4 days with this online, and then 1 small group session. So that 5-hour work week seemed to have worked out pretty well for old Warren. So do the work and you will reap what you sow. Now go ahead and move straight into the Business 101-1, the schedule. It's a shorter module to make up for the time you spent here, okay? This has just been an overview. So don't stop here. Go to the next link, go to the next webinar session and get right into that Business 101, the schedule. Because setting those expectations on setting a pace and what the schedule needs to look like in order for you to succeed is the number one place we're starting. All right? 30 Days to Greatness. You can do it. I believe in you. Go.